All right, Nick, let's talk about the Chicago Bears as training camp season has come around. There's always some very interesting reports coming out, some players you got to keep your eyes on, some guys that look to be the surefire candidates for new jobs on their team. And I think we have a story today for the Bears fans that they are really going to enjoy.
Yeah, Miles, this is a great story about one playmaker ready to take that next step. And this is a Bears team ready to take that next step along with them. Very exciting news that you dug up. But before we get into that report, Bears fans got a really interesting question for you today, as always, in the comment section below. Who is the fastest Chicago Bear in team history? There's a couple really interesting names. There's some old school names, there's some new school names. Really curious what you guys have to say. So make sure in the comment section below, give us the fastest Chicago Bear, in your opinion, in team history. All right, Miles, what you got? What's the latest out of Chicago?
Yeah, Nick, after Justin Fields' historic, second overall in the NFL rushing season last year, it was very, very impressive. The Bears as an offense in whole were impressive at running the ball, but now there could be a new leader in the backfield as the head runner of the football in the running back position that is. And I think the Bears fans are really going to like this one because I liked him a lot last year as well, Nick. Of course, we are talking about Khalil Herbert and his rise to potentially being the number one guy in Chicago's backfield. But let's get into the story first before we talk about it. This is from over on heavy.com. It says, as training camp nears, third-year running back Khalil Herbert is the front runner to win the Bears' starting job after a second productive season as the number 2 man on the depth chart behind now departed David Montgomery. He left the team. He is not dead. I think they worded that very, very precariously. It says, if all goes according to plan, Herbert should be in an excellent position to succeed, particularly alongside Fields, who had the second best season in NFL history as a rushing quarterback across 15 games played in 2022. However, Kenyon noted that his prediction of a breakout year for Herbert remains reliant on a relatively young Bears offense coalescing as the year progresses. Herbert has produced an impressive 5.0 yards per carry on 232 attempts over 2 years in Chicago. Montgomery averaged 229 attempts per season over his 4-year tenure with the Bears, which means a healthy Herbert should expect a similar workload if he assumes the lead role. Extrapolating the numbers out, Herbert can reasonably expect to exceed 1,000 rushing yards by a significant margin. His targets in the passing game should also increase substantially from an average of 14 per season over the last 2 years. Montgomery was targeted an average of 45.5 times per year over that same stretch, playing ahead of Herbert. So, Nick, I think this is all really interesting. They think Herbert is set here, if he gets that number 1 role, to have a monster year for the Bears. And I think he's up for the task because this guy was very impressive last year. But, Nick, what were your thoughts on Herbert, and what do you think this means for the overall picture for the Bears?
So I think he was a good player last year based on my original opinions. I did some more research. I dug into this kid a little bit more. He actually was a beast. The guy averaged 5.7 yards per carry last season. Here's my favorite Herbert stat, though. In his career, he has only 1 fumble in 255 offensive touches, right? I double check the stat there. That is phenomenal. That's exactly what you're looking for in a feature back. There's nothing worse than turnovers in this game. It's just the way it works in modern NFL, especially fumbles at the running back position. And this guy's done a great job taking care of the football so far, the Chicago Bears. I think that gives them the heads up opportunity to win this position. But I want to talk about how smart the Bears have structured their football team, because we did a story, I think about a week and a half ago, about Bears rookie running back Roschon Johnson and what he could potentially grow into. I think Johnson will support Herbert as kind of the number 2 back in that offense going forward, depending how training camp shakes out. But I love the fact that the Bears, the amount of capital they've committed to the running back situation right now is how you're supposed to do it and how you win in the NFL. You have Herbert, who is an undrafted free agent going into the 3rd year of his 4-year original contract. He is scary cheap. His cap hit this year, Mice, $900,000. For a guy who's going to be a feature back and probably have 1,000 yards plus from scrimmage, $900,000 against the cap, that's a steal. Then next year, he's 4th year of his deal, $1.1 million. Again, scary cheap. And then you have Roschon Johnson, the backfill. He's going to be on a rookie 4th-round running back deal too. I mean, this is just awesome roster construction from Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. This is how you win the National Football League. We saw it from the Kansas City Chiefs. Stacked team, built to win last season. They go with young running back Isaiah Pacheco. He does fine. He carries them through the playoffs to do great things. This is how you win in the NFL. Don't put too much money at the running back position because there's a lot of talented, scrappy, physically gifted football players that you can find later in the draft, or in Herbert's case, undrafted, and he has developed and emerged into a legitimate playmaker. I love the fact he has the ability to be so productive, averaging close to 5.7 yards per carry last season, because this is an offense that's built for big plays, obviously with Justin Fields, and having a running back that can add that dimension to it and keep that dimension will be huge for this football team.